Good morning, our president, Leroy, fellow Lions, and our guests, if we have some today. This was a beautiful day we've been having, and this is my happy dollar. I'm so happy. The weather's great, and we're feeling good.
How's it going?
I'm late, but I'm here.
Okay, everybody, we have happy dollar, so let's show our respect to our dollar happy person. Does that make sense?
Lion Dwayne.
President Leroy, call Lions and guests. I'm happy that my brother is able to join us today. He's floating around here someplace.
Wonderful to see, David. Where did he end up? Oh, he's eating. Okay, that's all right. We'll talk to him a little later. Okay, we're back here with Shirley White, and she has two happy dollars.
President Leroy and my wonderful members, joint members, and VIP guests, which I do see a few. And I would like to say I'm $2 worth of happy being back because I was sick. Now I'm well.
Good for you. Good for you. For the award for the most inventive piece of attire, take a good look at Donna Jessup. Stand up, Donna. She's calling that Lion's attire. Little does she know, only the tail twister can determine whether that's appropriate or not. So, we're going to determine that it's appropriate. All right? However, don't you ever do that again. Okay.
I think it looks nice.
I've got a fine for no spirit.
Hey, thank you, Gary. There's another quarter, no spirit. Moving right along. We're going to go to Lion Lloyd. Must be about football time.
Fellow Lions and guests, you sure got pretty knees, you know that? Maybe better than Bill Pontius. Didn't we put up with you 4 or 5 years ago as tail twister? Oh my Lord. King Lion, fellow Lions and guests, I have a very happy dollar. We've been gone for 4 weeks to western Idaho and Montana. Happy to be back. Thank you.
So are the quarters for the and your lovely wife, Pat. Lion Pat.
King Lion, fellow Lions and guests, I have a happy dollar because I'm glad to be back too. And we did have a wonderful, you can't say vacation anymore because we're retired. So we had a wonderful trip. We took a jet boat up the Hills Canyon. We went to Glacier Park. We went to Idaho. We went to Montana. And we just had a great time.
Wow. Former tail twister Mike, Lion Mike, and oh, I see, he just got a quarter. Let's go to Lion Mike.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, a few weeks ago Nita come home with blue hair and I refer to her as my Smurf. Well, I'm her leprechaun because I have green all over me now.
Zone chair. Extraordinaire. Cindy.
President Leroy, members and guests, $1 for the chuck wagon on Thursday night. I had a great helper, Donna, the other Donna. She was great. And then $1 for the zone meeting on Saturday. It was at Steve Stollinger? I'll get it. And we got our patch on the banner, so it was a really nice time. Thank you.
Hey, Louis, anything? Go away. Oh, I see another quarter just walked in. Yeah. Oh, she has her pin on. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good. All right, we're gonna go to past zone chair. Lion George.
Kayla and Leroy, fellow lines of guests, got $2 happy. Spent this last weekend, 4 days in Packwood, celebrating Carmen's 80th birthday. And all 5 of her kids were there, plus 5 grandchildren. Great weekend.
Wow. Ah. Past zone chair, love of my life, in Maryland.
Thank you for remembering on your love. President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, I have a happy dollar for family as well. Last weekend, I believe that about 19 to 21 people passed through my home. Yeah. We had dinner on Friday night, lunch on Saturday, and dinner at McMiniman's later, all because of my cousins who visited us from California. It was an awesome experience. And I've got another happy dollar here, and a thank you dollar actually. Thank you to First Vice District Governor Doug Harvey for presenting the zone banner to Zone Chair Cindy last cabinet meeting. Because of family, I couldn't be there and do my duty, so.
Okay, okay. Oh, we better, let's back up a minute. We got Lion Bill, he's gonna cough up some monies. Lion Bill.
Thank you, Steve. You're still a little like scumbag. Okay. King Lion Leroy, fellow Lions and guests. I had an exciting last Friday. Ron took me to Planet Fitness, and I could not believe how many women were in there with tank tops.
Are you gonna depart with that dollar? With that? He really got excited talking about that, didn't he? Lion? Lion Ron, you're making a comment?
Table fine, it's a spirit. No.
A table fine for, oh my, that's well. Could you take your cane and keep falling over? Thank you. Okay. Let's go this way, yeah. Past district governor. Oh, that's a fine, that's what that is. We're making the bucks today, lady. Past district governor Jim.
Did you have sales training of some kind? King Lion Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, I've got a happy dollar because sometimes later this month we will be celebrating our 125th wedding anniversary, and then early next month we'll be celebrating the 126th. That's my happy butt. For Eileen, I got a sad butt. The sad butt is that later this month we'll be celebrating our 125th anniversary, and then early next month we'll be celebrating 126th.
Well, I'm not sure how to interpret that. Let's step back here a moment. Patrick? Happy dollar time? Yeah, yeah. Here we go. Past President. Oh, there's some happy quarters that just walked in as well. Spirit Day and no pins, no attire. The name tag doesn't count. Fine, Pat.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, excuse my coming in late, but it has to do with a very robust printing economy in the local area. and I am really happy to give $5.
Attaboy. Oh, back to Lion Bob. Oh, wait a minute, wait a second. Sorry, David, I didn't mean to bypass you. Are you gonna chuck the whole 5 in, or do you need some change? Holy cow, the whole 5's going in? All right, here, I'll do it if you want. Okay, here we go. Fine, Dave.
All right, why I don't have a badge on that one is because back there, I looked twice, there's no badge. But it might have been pulled, and may have been pulled while I was gone. But it's getting old, or something happened in something in between. So I do have a flag on the side, fixed cap, and that's as good as it gets. But it's good to see all of you. And I want to thank you for all the cards, for the nice cards that all of you gave me. And I'm going to make it real short. I'm going to do the song. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the light from the night from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless all of you. There's so many here today. Thank you.
My goodness, well done, David, well done. Where did they go? Where did they go? Let's go back to Bob. Let's go over to Bob. Chuck Wagon Chairman, Lion Bob.
President Leroy, fellow members and guests, my grandson Ryan has a birthday tomorrow, so I think we should sing to him.
You want the Pioneer version? Hey, Ryan, this is the Pioneer version of Happy Birthday. Ready? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Ryan.
That just warm your heart. You got any money in your pocket? Somebody needs to loan him a quarter. He has no badge. He has no nothing. What? Grandpa's too. Oh, your fine has been covered. Yeah, yeah. Okay, we need to be wrapping this up, I think.
You still have 7 minutes.
We got a lot of money. Let's stop here with immediate past President Kent first.
You got 6 minutes.
King Lion Leroy, fellow lions and guests, one ugly and one beautiful tail twister. Take your choice, which is which.
Sorry, honey.
Three happy dollars. First happy dollars, I'm very excited to see members of our family here today. Our lovely daughter-in-law and granddaughter finally remembered where the club was. The second happy dollar is one that I am really excited, especially for this being the Tuesday that it is. 4 more months and we go on a fantastic vacation. The last happy dollar, I am excited and I hope to see 100% of you at the Relay for Life this coming Saturday. This really is something special for our club, so be there. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. Forgot to get back over there when we did Maryland. So, treasurer, we'll get to you. Just relax. Just relax. They just don't have any patience. I don't know what their problem is. Lion Dolly.
President Leroy,
fellow Lions and guests. We had a great time at the cabinet meeting down in the center sort of battleground out there. Had a wonderful time.
All right. Okay, Harold, we're coming to you. Where'd he go? Oh, no, George. Fine, George. Fine, George. Okay, I hope one of those is for your fine.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, my wife had to hike in Newfoundland for 2 weeks, but I got this t-shirt. And it's costing me a happy buck and a fine.
Past District Governor, Mark.
President Leroy, Lions, guests, and Tail Twister that apparently went to the Edith Bunker School of Tangential Thinking. Happy dollar. No thinking. Edith Bunker School. Never mind. Happy dollar number one. There's a lot of comments about family, so I have to share a story. Friday afternoon, my phone rang. It was a gentleman in Hawaii that we had tied in that thought was close family relation. He got his DNA back, and it is my father. So I have found my biological father. Hawaii is not a bad place to go visit. See something either. Second dollar, kind of along the same lines. On Saturday, previously scheduled, I went up to Tacoma. I had lunch with my biological sister on my maternal side. So people I didn't even know existed 6 months or 8 months ago. So pretty crazy. Sad dollar for me. I'm sure you guys will all be sad as well. I have training scheduled 10 to 12 next week, so I probably won't be here. Well, if you feel like that, I'll try and hurry in.
Secretary, Lion Phil. Oh, and to pass something. What did you do? You were like a past president or something.
Or something. President Leroy, $2. One is an informational dollar, just in case you were wondering what happens if you try to call Kurt Anagnostu and use Siri. It comes up Kurt and ignores. And so I have changed his contact to Kurt and ignores.
That's funny. I like that. Okay, there's Katie and Mom needing to pay their fine. The badge doesn't count. Either to be a pin or some attire. Mom, you sponsored her. How come you... Yeah, she's paying your fine too. Okay. Eric?
There it is.
Okay, that does not count. No, not with this tail twister. Okay, so dig in your pocket. We can make change. We got bucks.
They're cruel.
No, find him a full dollar. A full dollar. The reason is you're getting fined also because back on Awards Day, you were being recognized as the unsung lion of the month for all of your help up at Columbia Heights Elementary, reading to all the children, including 2 of your children, I believe. So, recognizing for the month of June, Erica Torrance, an unsung lion. There we go, there we go. Okay, anyone else? We're wrapping it up.
Use entertainment.
President Leroy.
I'll take some change.
4.
I'll take 4 back there. President, me, and fellow Lions and guests. I have a happy dollar. Last Wednesday, I think it was. Days kind of gone by. My oldest daughter, Kimber, had her second child, a daughter. Her name is Brooke Penelope. So now I have 2 granddaughters. Her older sister, who was 3, she's very possessive. This is her baby, not her mom's baby or anybody else's. It's her baby. So, but very cute, and Mom and new baby are doing good. They're healthy. They're home. And I went and saw them last night, and yeah, she was like sprawled out. She never woke up the whole time. Anyway, that's that, and we'll go with this. Leading us in the invocation today will be past President John Claypool.
Father, we stand before you in thanksgiving for the blessing to be together as Lions Minister of our community. We ask you to help those of us with challenges, either mentally, physically, family, friends, or whatever. Ask you to help us to be servants for them and love them. We ask you to bless us, to do us and us in your service, and we continue to serve as Lions. Amen.
Leading us in the pledge will be Lion Bob Jensen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And leading us in song will be past District Governor Doug Harvey. Three 'tis the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of thy pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. Thank you. So just for a clarification, Lion Doug, what are you? Okay, did I get it right? Your first? First. Hey, you know, it's what
Dolly's husband.
Yeah, that would have been a lot easier. You don't give me a cheat to show who's who. Okay, start off with do we have any guests to be introduced?
President Leroy, fellow members and guests, we do have some guests today. And Dolly, would you like to introduce your guest?
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, my granddaughter, Phoebe Mastroianni.
And past President Ken, would you like to introduce your guest?
I would be more than happy to. I'd like to introduce also the gentleman.
No, the only thing you need to do is just scroll down half the page and then click on the video to start.
Terry's husband, who happens to be my son.
Do you have sound?
Talked to Tony
Yes.
Lopez and Barry and
Oh, we do.
let's try it.
Okay.
Gordon Schultz.
Kathy, would you like to introduce your guest?
I'm sorry, President Leroy.
That it? Thank you. Welcome, guest. Announcements. We'll start with Lion Bob.
President Leroy, fellow members and guests, report on last Thursday night's concert. We took in $3,300 and we had 27 Lions that put in time and effort to make it successful. Sign-up sheet for this Thursday night, which is Neil Diamond. Now, how can you go wrong when you work at the Lions booth and listen to Neil Diamond? We do need some people to help prep in the morning on Thursday, move the wagons over at 3 o'clock, and then we need a little bit more help on cleanup the following Friday, and maybe a couple more kettle corn baggers. So if you can do one of those things, come over and see me.
Thank you, Bob. Let's see here. We'll go back to, no, we won't. Flora Lee has an announcement.
Gloria.
Good morning. I would like to personally thank Patrick for all his efforts and helping our club to succeed, and made posters and tickets for our sock hop that's coming up September 10th. You think you guys can see it from back here?
I see yellow.
Well, you're welcome to take a poster with you and take some tickets and help sell, because we really need sellers on our tickets. See Kathy, and she'll give you, Kathy Carmody will be glad to give you tickets to sell so that it will be a success. Our money, you know we need, and Camp Leo would appreciate a little help, the kids that are diabetic. And we just want to help everyone be happy. Besides that, dancing is fun and healthy. Ask me.
Thank you. Past President Gary Hill. Right behind you, Steve.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, usually the last weekend or the week of the month, I set up the store here. Obviously, I wasn't here. And I'm also being treated for some back problems and neck problems through a chiropractor. So I won't be setting up the store probably the end of this month. However, I do have order forms. If there's something, an article of clothing you need, just let me know and I'll bring it to you personally.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
And 9 March, do we have a sunshine report or anything?
President Leroy, fellow members and guests, Jim Wires is out of surgery and they think they got everything. And so we want to send prayers for Jim. And I sent a card around. If you didn't sign it, it's over here. Thank you.
Thank you. And a reminder that this Thursday is the board meeting at Bob Paul's at 7 o'clock in the morning. So all board members, please attend. And are there anybody else that has any announcements? Past President Pat Palmer.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, I just want to remind everyone that this coming Friday, August the 9th at 11 a.m., Ken Dahl service, former Council Lion, great guy all around. If his family hasn't touched your family, it's because you haven't lived here. And so if we could, in response to just honoring a really good man, First Presbyterian Lutheran Church is the one, that big one right at the end of the big green bridge. And come and pay your respects. First United Methodist. It's got all kinds of words in it. It's that big giant church. I can't miss it.
Thank you, Pat. Okay, if that's it, no more announcements. Thank you. So we're going to go off with the program, and this month's program chair is President Lion Kurt Aganassi. Boy, I get confused up here. Thanks.
Thank you guys. Yeah, that's much appreciated. It gives me great pleasure to introduce your speaker today. She was born in Portland, grew up there, and moved to Vancouver in her 20s. She retired from Bonneville as a transmission analyst while raising 4 children to adulthood. For the last 4 years, she has worked for the Office of Moms and Dads. She is the board secretary and a Vancouver volunteer, and she's here to talk to you about that program. So would you give a warm welcome to Darcy Blankenship.
So hello everyone. I'm going to have to look at my notes just a little bit today. I was a last-minute replacement for your local Kelso volunteer coordinator. Her name is Kimberly Anderson, and she had an illness and so was not able to come today. So you get me. What I wanted to mention to you, I'm sure most of you are aware that there are foster children, right, in this community. I was actually surprised when I was employed. I mentioned to my boss that I was going to be leaving and I was going to be spending time working with this nonprofit that helped with foster kids. And he surprisingly hadn't really heard about foster kids. And so in case you haven't heard, we have a foster care family and foster child crisis across the United States, but here in Washington. So a couple of the pieces of information I wanted to share with you are that in Cowlitz County, in the offices in Kelso, just off of Vine Street, there have been children coming into placement every day for the past 2 months. Those kids are in the office, hanging out, being attended to during the day in the office, and then at nighttime they are often taken to a hotel with a social worker, or they are staying in the office, maybe in a pack and play, maybe in a sleeping bag on a cot with social workers. Also, there are not enough local foster parents here in this area, so the kids are being placed in other counties and often separated from siblings. And they also go away from their existing schools and communities. Something that the social workers really try hard to do is to keep them in their community. It's bad enough that they are having to leave their family of origin and their people they know and their home, but to have to go into a whole other community, a new school, and a new family is very distressing to children, as you might imagine. I have a personal experience with that. Not so long ago, we had a request to come in and care for a child in Vancouver. That child was being driven from Vancouver to Hoquiam for the night because that was the closest bed they could find that night for this child. He was 9 years old. So we continue to have to do this with families. I have sat in the room with 3 little boys and watched the baby get taken away because the foster parents had room for a baby, but they didn't have room for the 4- and 5-year-old. So I can just, on behalf of our social workers here, if I could just beg you to spread the word that we need more good, caring foster care families. Many of you may not be interested in doing it for yourself, but think about your extended relationships. You know, other people that you work with, your children, your church groups. There are a lot of folks. And one of the things that was interesting to me that when I was younger had held me back because I didn't know this was that the kiddos' medical care is covered, daycare costs are covered. I was thinking I was going to have to just jump in and take on this new child, and I'd have to pay all the bills like I did with my own 4 kids. And it turns out that's not the case. So I think a lot of people aren't aware of that. I certainly wasn't, and I knew a little bit. I had friends who had foster kids, so I knew a bit about it. But what I'm here to talk more about is something I do know, and it's a very tangible way that anyone can become a foster, can help with the foster care situation. So, and it's called Office Moms and Dads. And if you'd like, we're gonna play a video for you from our website. It's about 3 minutes long.
When children are removed from their homes by CPS They often leave in haste and lose everything they've ever known. Time after the removal, while waiting in the child welfare office, can be one of the most frightening and confusing times of their lives. But Office Moms and Dads has found a way to minimize this re-traumatization experience when entering the office. As a community, we have the power to lift the narrative around trauma by providing a kind and gentle adult whose only job is to care for a child in their most vulnerable moments. We are giving their brains the strength to process those things in a new framework, in a safe space, with the volunteers' full attention and respect. During their time together, volunteers play games, read books, and serve as a safe and supportive adult presence. In addition to this emotional support, volunteers provide practical support by giving children new clothes, coats, backpacks, stuffed animals, blankets, and more. Our volunteers keep children occupied and safe, while social workers work behind the scenes to arrange for long-term care, often having conversations not suited for children's behavior. OMD volunteers with a little belly that is not even in the tissues for their tears, and put stuffies beyond kids who have everything they need. We can't fix broken homes, broken bones, and broken hearts, but we have the power and the privilege to hold them up in the We may never see the results of our time spent in the child welfare office, but rest assured, if you spend an hour or two making a child laugh, providing for their basic needs, or holding a neglected baby against your chest, you will have a great deal.
So that's Office Moms and Dads in a nutshell. We are volunteers. Everyone has to be over the age of 18. You have to pass a background check, and you need to attend about a 1.5 hour training in your local office, DCYF office. And in that training, you go over the procedures for caring for the kiddos, and you get to take a little tour of the office. You see where we usually have a dedicated office room, and in our Kelso office, we do have a room that is only for Office Moms and Dads. So other rooms are used for visitation with kids' parents and things, but we have a room that's just dedicated for us. And we give them snacks, we give them clothes. There are new clothes, all donated, and each office has an option to provide things like that to use some of their budget. But in Clark County and Kelso Calhoun County is coming along with those sorts of donations as well, and those are managed either by volunteers from Office Moms and Dads, or from other volunteers in the organization around the community that can help out. We really believe that everybody can help. So we come in and we just play with them. We've been learning a lot about trauma and how with kids, even 1 hour spent with somebody who is kind and sweet to them makes a difference in how they process what has been happening to them and how they move forward. We also provide care boxes, and those are a fun project for school groups and families. They are basically a shoebox, and they're filled with, depending on the age and gender of the kiddos, they have necessities and then fun things. And so everyone has a toothbrush, a toothpaste, flashlight, socks, underwear, and then toys and coloring books and bubbles and things that help the kids. But the most important part of those boxes is they all have a little note on the top of the box on the inside with some simple message, just you are special, or someone cares for you, or you can get through this. Many of these kids, surprisingly to me again, don't hear those messages. And we hear stories from their foster families about how they take those messages and they put them right by their bed, or they put them by their light switch, and they refer to them often because they haven't heard those messages before. We We have a lot of those donations currently come from our Vancouver office up to Kelso. We've been trying to get Kelso, again, kick-started, to get more volunteers in, to get more donations in. And that's where you all can help. Please consider being a volunteer. Consider sharing the word with your friends and neighbors. We started in Vancouver. There was Sarah, who you saw speaking. She and her husband were adopting 2 children from Oklahoma. The kids were both Native Americans, and they had different parents. They were cousins, but they had different parents. And so Sarah was frequently in the DSHF office looking for looking for help, getting paperwork done, etc. Y'all know how the governments work, right? They take a lot of time, a lot of paperwork. And she would see the kids. They were sitting in the cubicles with their social workers. And that might be okay if you have a 10 or 12-year-old child who can entertain themselves with, a book or an iPad or whatever they might have. But when you have a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old who don't sit still, that's pretty difficult. Or when you have a 12-year-old who can listen to those phone calls where the social worker is explaining what the situation is and what they need, and the other person on the phone says, "No, I can't do it." And that is repeated multiple times during the day. And the kid is listening to that. So Sarah was able to spark some conversations with social workers, and she and one became the founders of Office Moms and Dads. And we started in Vancouver almost 6 years ago now. And we are now in 24 locations. We're in 22 throughout Washington State, and we're in 2 in Idaho. And we are a registered nonprofit. And so we've been able to actually, as you all, not maybe all of you, but most of you are business owners, and you understand you need a business plan, you need to have sustainable funding, you need to have staff, and you need to know how to balance all those priorities. So we've gone from being, 15 friends in one office, taking turns watching over kids, to actually being a viable business now. And that's pretty exciting. We do hope to expand it. There is nothing exactly like this across the country that we are aware of. And our co-founder, Kim Carew, who works here in the Kelso office as a supervisor, a CPS supervisor, has been prominent in speaking throughout Idaho and Washington to their social worker boards. Are there any questions so far? Did I not mention anything that sparked your curiosity? No? Yes? Yeah.
So all the info is on the website?
Yes, the question was, if all the info is on the website. The information is all on the website. I have some brochures I can hand you that will give you the website. I also have sign-up sheets if you're interested in more information, and particularly if you would like to attend the next training class, which is actually the first class in Kelso for a few years, and it's happening on, Tuesday, August 27th at 4:30, and it is in the DSHS office. But I have a sign-up sheet for that I will pass on to Kimberly. There is information on the website, and you can always go there. There's exactly what we do, where we are, and you can always just on that website send an email request to info@Office Moms and Dads, and we will get back in touch with you. Anything else?
I was wondering, you mentioned that we're having a problem with too many kids in the foster system. Is that something new? Is something changed? Are there more parents that are becoming deficient, or what's going on? Why are
Thanks, Kurt. That's a great question. There are more children now than there have been in the past. Cowlitz County, unfortunately, again, most of you are probably aware of this, has quite an issue with families being disrupted by drug use. And we frequently, apparently in the Cowlitz office, there are a lot more babies that come in because of being addicted during pregnancy. And so there are less resources for kids and that there have been in the past. Some schools are able now to even with preschool age children not accept children any longer. They are able to say, no, this child can't be here. And that will conduct a study into the family. So there just really is more of an issue with the need is growing here. And I'm sorry I don't have statistics for you, because I think that's always helpful to be able to see how much things have changed over a period of time. But I don't have those numbers. I do know from talking to Kim Carew in the office that there are babies frequently, and there are just a lot of children, and families just are having a harder time coping. So, yeah, thanks. Yes.
Do you have to be a health resident to be in your program?
No.
Is it outside of health sciences?
No, you don't. You do have to be a Washington resident, just because our background checks can't accept other, they're not thorough enough with people who live outside of Washington. Kelso may not be the closest office for you. We also are going to be restarting up in Centralia. But no, as long as you're willing to drive to the Kelso office, you can live wherever you want. We have people from Vancouver who have started being available for Kelso as well. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thanks very much. It's not like that. So this is not your typical, I'm going to go every Monday morning from 10 to 12 and watch these kids. This is truly on call. And we have an app that goes out, and you can sign up for by hour when there is a need. You would see a notification that there are perhaps 2 children ages 3 and 6 in the office. And they're going to be there from 10 until 4 today. And you can sign up for as many or as few of those hours as you want. Most of it is on call that same day. Some of it we have a couple of days notice when they have meetings with families hoping to avert foster placement. So it really is up to you. We do ask that volunteers try to come in for at least 1 hour a month. And but we work very much with you. The social workers are so excited to have the help. That's one of the things that I love, is if you're there and you're wearing the office mom or office dad apron, you will be receiving a lot of just thank you so much, because they really can get a lot more work done, and they are happy. Even if we can only come in for an hour at a time, they will take that, because that's an hour that they get back to do their work. So. Any other questions? Yes? So typically, when they come into the office, before they go out into placement, it's generally 3 to 5 hours, but sometimes longer. Again, in the counties where we have fewer foster homes, basically up the valley here, it can be longer. I've had occasions where I've had the same kid come in, every day for a week, because they can only get him into a place every night, a different place every night, and they can't put him into school, they can't put him into daycare. So, did I answer your question? Oh, as a foster parent. Yeah. Well, so I can guarantee you that if you were to be a foster parent, you would constantly receive requests to take children. You can specify many things. You can specify what age groups you want. You can specify which gender you want. I'm sorry, I'm not the expert on this part, but about the only thing you can't specify is religion. But beyond that, you can say you want boys or girls, you want babies only, you want teenagers only. And then they stay with you. In Washington, it's pretty important. Reunification is something that the department is striving for, right? So parental rights are pretty big for Washington. And so it is tough because you're going to have this other family sort of involved in your life. And we want the best for everyone. We want the best for you as a foster parent family. We want the best for the child. And we want the best for their biological family. And that's a really tough road for some people to walk, especially people who have been more involved where kids' rights are prime, right? It's all about the kid. And but in Washington, we really try to get unification of their family. And so I don't know what an average time in care looks like. I do know that we always need, in addition to just full-time foster parents, there's respite care. And it's the same process. Again, I don't know a whole lot about the foster care parent process. I do know that most of the training now is online. And you don't have to go spend hours and hours and hours sitting in one room getting all this training. You can do most of it online. I know that in Vancouver we do a foster parent orientation once a month. First Monday every month we have that foster parent orientation. So I don't know what it is here in Kelso. But you will, if you become a foster parent, you will receive calls, and even when they know you're fully booked, they will call you, and you have to have a backbone, and you have to say, no, my house is full, and because we need you to take care of yourselves too as foster parents, right? Yeah. But I would certainly encourage you, if you have more questions that way, to please contact the DSHS. Actually, now it's called DCYF, Department of DCYF, Youth, Families, and Children and Families. They changed it a little over a year ago. I'm still getting used to it. So, any other questions?
Thank you, Darcy, and in appreciation, I'd like to give you this Pioneer Lions mug for your favorite beverage.
Great, thanks very much.
Thank you, thank you. So, let's see here. We are going to start off with the blue ticket. Anybody want a blue ticket? Well, I got the blue ticket. So, let's see here. The number is going to be 208-4463. Oh, right here. And I think we're in the second week of the new deck, so we've got a lot of cards there to pick through. Secretary Phil, do we have any seniority?
President Leroy, I'm sad to say that past President Patrick Palmer has not yet learned to sign in.
Got the winning card. Thanks, Mike. I can't see that far. Oh, it's a hearts. 9 hearts. Sweet. So we got another chance next week. Reminder, board meeting, Bob Paul's Cafe on Thursday at 7 o'clock. So a reminder of that. I know, Doug's got the winning red ticket and he's like flashing it over there.
Yeah.
So we'll see how close he is. 9-5, 6-3, 7-6.
Yes, sir. Right here.
This would be Secretary Phil.
Relay for life.
Relay for life. Anybody have anything they want to say? Dessert. Oh, that's right, dessert. How can I forget dessert? Jane, you're up. Did you see what he got to take home last week? Boy. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.